Hello, Likers. Welcome back to our channel. It's me, your fave, your one and only, your baby girl, Malika. So, Likers, we are doing the critical review of Mr. Aloy series, When Marriage Becomes a Nightmare, episode 43. It starts with Emeka that is waiting for Charles to come and give him feedback and everything on how it went with Jonathan. So Charles's feedback wasn't good, because Charles could not believe that Jonathan had so much pride, despite going through the difficulties of life that he's going through, despite being in debt, but Jonathan could still make mouth. So, like, Emeka was, to her, him, he was more like he wanted to pity Jonathan, he wanted to go a bit soft on him, but seeing how Jonathan embarrassed him, trying to fight him, he's going to go hard on him because, like, Jonathan does not deserve his pity. So to him it was more like he's going to show Jonathan Shege Banza. So he's trying to make this arrangement to see how he can do, because he does not want Emeka to go there alone, because not knowing how Jonathan will behave. So to him, he's going to send, not wanting Charles to go alone, because not knowing how Jonathan might behave. So he's willing to pay some 2 police officers that he has at his payroll, to make sure they accompany him, so that it will kind of look, legit and everything. So the next thing shows Benita, who went to her mother to tell her mother that her father has been scammed, that her father was scammed of that 10 million naira and everything. And her mother was shocked alive, because to her it's more like, why is it that Jonathan cannot learn from his past? Why is it that Jonathan cannot understand that he needs to, to crawl before he walks? I need to crawl, he needs to walk before he runs, because you cannot be making the same mistake over and over again. And she was shocked when she found out that the person, who introduced him the business was the same person who introduced him to the loan sharks, none other than Emeka. And that was when Clara started seeing where her daughter was coming from, her own point of view, because Benny has been saying it all along that Emeka knows something about this. Yes, Debbie wants people to know that Emeka is not who he claimed to be, who he thinks he is, and apparently she's the only one seeing this. Nobody else is seeing it. Her father, who is concerned, does not even see this. Her mother was shocked, because to her it was more like, how many times will Jonathan be hit before he will understand things? But Benny is not letting her mother off the hook. Benny is also making her mother to understand that you two, you need to be careful with your friend Debbie, because she isn't a friend. She's a foe. She's not a friend. So you need to be careful with her as well. Because it's not only my dad that is in trouble, even you are in trouble, and you might end up like him. And like us is the truth, because the funniest thing is that when you're being used, sometimes you don't even know that you're being used. You're not even conscious that you're being used. But one thing is certain, they are happy, because to them, since he used the car as a collateral, the only thing he's going to lose now is the car, even though it will devastate him. Because to Clara, losing the car, maybe it might be a wake-up call, because she knows very well how much Jonathan loves his car. So it might be a wake-up call, for Jonathan. Maybe things might change, But Clara also is forgetting that she has somebody that is close to her that isn't a friend. That is Debbie. Somebody that she was supposed to get rid of a long time ago. Yes. And I'm happy because they have a daughter who sees through people, and she's able to tell her, she's capable of telling her parents. Now it's all left to them to believe her or not. It's all left to them to accept what she says or not. So the next thing shows Jonathan, who is leaving his house. He's going somewhere. As soon as he wants to get into his car, you see Charles coming with 2 police officers, just as it was planned, guys. To come and show the officers that this is the guy who is owing me money. you know. But you know how Jonathan is, how he's so proud. He carries himself like a rich man, whereas he's broke, you know. Instead of Jonathan talking peacefully with these people, he's trying to show himself, you know. And the people, they're calling him for questioning because there's a petition that has been written against him. But Jonathan, being Jonathan, Jonathan wants to go to where he's supposed to go, like somebody who is proud but without shishi, proud and broke. BP, that is bad. I'm telling you, people. So they read him his rights, you know, and they made him to understand that, guy, you cannot go anywhere. That your meeting, after the police station, you could go to your meeting, you know. So he's trying to do like, no, 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 no. He's not going. Like, nobody should enter his car. His car is too poised for them. You know, they look tattered. Like that, he was talking to that police officer. He looks tattered. He cannot. That car is so expensive. But as soon as he saw cuffs, you know, he started like he brought down his tone because they were ready to cuff him and put him inside their car since he does not want them. Because what they wanted to do was to drive inside his car to go to the police station, knowing fully well that taking that car to the police station, that car will never come back. It was a plot, you know, to get the car from him. So Teresa being inside with Benny, hearing voices, they needed to come and see. But Jonathan, being Jonathan, always trying to show himself, you know, I got things under control, you know, everything is okay, I'm taking care of it, I'm sorting it out, you know, reassuring them when he knows very well that he needs help. You know, he making them to understand that they can go inside. He has a police friend, you know, he's going to call, like the guy is still forming that he's still, you know, he's still on top of the world. He got things under control. Guy, you cannot have things under control when you're broke and proud. That's the honest truth. You cannot. People need to understand that being broke and proud is not steez, you know. So the next year, it shows the next day, you know, later, you know, a day later and all the rest, you know, his fake friend, his frenemy, you know, Emeka went to release him. Sometimes I wish we knew what our friends, true friends were, you know. And like in pure Jonathan style, he started, you know, to fight with Emeka. Like, why would he let him spend the night in that cold, dirty, old place full with bed bugs and everything, not knowing that that was what Emeka wanted for him? You know, why would Emeka let him sleep there? You know, stuff like that. He's not meant for such place. But now Emeka, we know that Emeka will always want to play cool. You know, Emeka will always want to make it look like, guy, you're too good for that. Forget about that. You know, like this is like, this is nothing, you bounce back. You know, a friend that will be telling you bounce back when he knows very well that you don't have any plan. Shishi, you don't have. You're so proud and he's telling you bounce back. How are you going to bounce back from this? Please, people, help me. How can this guy bounce back from this one? It's more than me. Oh, people should help me, you know. How? No car, no money, nothing, no wife. So the next thing shows Teresa, who is home worried. She's worried sick, you know. And Jonathan returns home after spending the night in the city. Of course, his family was happy. You know, they were happy, they were rejoicing and all the rest, you know. Like, we know that this girl, Benny, will be so excited, you know, seeing her father, because in as much as her father is who he is, she never wished this for him. She does not want this for him, you know, because she knows very well that this is not right, you know. So Teresa made him to understand that they were there. They had to call Clara, you know. Clara went there, and Clara even wanted to pay the 10 million naira instrumentally. You know, Clara was willing to pay that money instrumentally, you know, and Teresa confirmed. But the problem is that they were unable, you know, they didn't let them see him, you know. And Clara even wanted to bring her lawyer, stating that if they don't let him, you know, if he doesn't come out, you know, she'll file a lawsuit. And apparently that was when they decided to let him out. And this Mumu Emeka went and stood there as if he bailed him out, knowing fully well that he kept it. But now when they were saying this thing, Emeka didn't like it because he knew it was the truth, but he started debunking them, saying that they are lying. You know, it's not true, because to him it was more like, if she truly meant well, why was she there? why wasn't she there when they came out? She was nowhere to be found. So Teresa made it clear it was simply because maybe she did that because she wanted to return back to her husband's house. And Benita was so fast to shun her aunts out that no, my mother did not help my dad because she wanted to return back. I put pressure, because we all know that this woman, Clara, loves her daughter so much. And it's so easy for Benita to put pressure on her, you know. So she succumbed to Benita's pressure and chose to go and to bail out Jonathan, but it was not fruitful. But now Emeka, being the mastermind, hearing that he's not happy, so he needed to switch immediately. So Emeka now started talking about the fact that because Benny made a point that her mother was willing to do anything because she even decided that she wanted to call Hanks, knowing fully well that Hanks has a lot of connection. She was willing to call. That was not what they wanted to hear. That was not what Emeka wanted to hear, and Emeka just had to bring up stories, that would make Jonathan angry, saying that Hanks was there because Hanks is knacking mother and daughter. Yes, Hanks was there. Hanks is knacking her mother. That's the reason why a shameless housewife, that is what he has nursed into Jonathan's brain. And as dumb as Jonathan is, Jonathan runs with it. That how can a shameless married woman who is sleeping around, want to use her the man she's cheating with to help her husband. That is simply because he's sleeping with both mother and daughter. Talked about the day he saw Hanks dropping this girl off, Benita, and he knew very well that there are some people that don't call people's names beside them. Emeka know very well that calling Hanks's name beside Jonathan is going to frustrate him. And they were now pressuring this girl to, like, why would Hanks be picking you from school to take you to your mother's restaurant? They will not let her speak because this thing happened when this girl was being harassed by the guys that Emeka paid to drive her crazy on the streets. It didn't work out. Hanks saved her life. Now her father, who is so dumb, frustrated, will not even let her speak. He will not let her speak. He just went ahead and just believed what his friend said. Like, as sometimes people should normalize listening to others. Because this child would not even speak. So how would you know if Emeka is telling the truth? The next thing shows Jonathan out of frustration after hearing that Hanks is sleeping with his daughter and his wife as well. He went and blocked her way. He knew where she passes to go to work. He went and blocked her way. And next morning, so that she will not be able to go to work. You understand? I don't even know. At this point, I don't know why Clara didn't, like, push this guy down. Because what are you doing like this? This is childish. Blocking her way, making her know that she's not going anywhere until she talks to you. Is this the best way to dialogue? Is it the best way to do things? And Clara was kind of confused, like, guy, what is this? What are you doing on my car? Because to her it was like, since when? And the next thing he could do was to smack her. I trust Clara now. Her hand is as sharp as a razor. She said she could not waste time and she had to give it back to him. Trying to understand what color of problem, what was the color of his problem, and what was the name of the type of madness that he had, because it was obvious that he was a madman. Because no sane man would behave like this. No sane man will come, and block someone like that. What if you were knocked down by the car? What would you have said? His anger and frustration poured in. He's talking about his wife, being shameless, knocking the same man with her daughter, and all. Like, how could you how can you accuse people without having any concrete evidence? None. Because your friend put this into your head. Now, when asking him where did he hear this from, the next thing he could say was the fact that he saw them. Where did you see them? Clara is so patient, like, as I can't lie. Do you people realize that even with all of this woman is still willing to go back to her husband? Yes. even with all of this bad character that this man have seen. Because how can you accuse a woman who is not doing anything of sleeping with her ex just because her ex decided to help her out the same way she helped him years ago? There are people like that that wants to see others win. That is the honest truth. I know that some people, once it is over, it is over. But there are some people that will actually genuinely want you to win regardless, without wanting to have anything to do with you. And at this point, I think Clara should stop justifying herself when it comes to, so long as her husband is still friends with this guy, Emeka. And now she wants to go into her car. This guy, with me, Jonathan went there with a plan to steal her car from her to use it because he doesn't have a car. But I trust baby girl. She didn't have time. She went for a brick that was just laying there and hit it on his waist. As big as he is like this, one power like me, no gets. As I'm here, it's mouth though. I can't fight. He cannot. Already he was on the ground, screaming like a child. Hey, whoa, hey, whoa, hey. See, if you guys, when I was watching, I was laughing like a baby. And since she couldn't fight him, all she wanted was to get into her car and leave. So the next thing shows Benita that was explaining everything that happened, how some guys were harassing her on the streets, and she was walking away from them when she closed from school, and that was how Hanks found her that day. So her aunt was happy that she explained, but at some point she was confused because to her it was more like, why didn't you explain to your dad? But like, as the truth is, we all sometimes we have this most of us have had these parents that will not let, as soon as they hear something about you, they just believe it that it is the truth. They'll never give you the benefit of doubt. No, they will not ask you. They'll just say that it is the truth. Yes, you did what they're accusing you of doing. You did it. Yes, you did it. They are certain that you did that thing, and that is it. There's nothing that you will say that will make them believe. Nothing. You're just wasting your time, So, like, she was trying to make her aunt understand that with the way her father was going, there was no way for her to explain everything. As she was talking, that was her father who walked in. Coming from the frustration of being, not receiving what she wanted to get, because he went there to fight his wife, to get the car because he wants to use it, obviously, or maybe to sell it. But he couldn't succeed. Now he wants to come and pour his anger and frustration on his daughter. Thank God Teresa was there. Teresa made him to understand that you will not touch this girl, because like, she does not understand where this anger is coming from, because he's having too much anger problem. Why won't he have anger issues? The guy is broke. The truth is, when you're broke, like us, you have anger issues. That's the honest truth. We should be honest with ourselves. When I'm broke, I have anger issues. Yes, that's why I don't like to be broke. That's why you see me working 24/7. For those who are watching my other channel, my main channel, Malaika and her Likers channel, I'm working 24/7 because I don't want to be broke. You understand? So, Likers, listen. Like, this guy, no normal woman. I don't even know how, Clara manages this guy. I cannot lie to you, my people. If I was Clara, I would have been out of that relationship a long time ago. I'm telling you people the truth. I would have been out of that relationship. Now he's trying to beat this girl. This girl has not done anything to him. Like us, we are going to end this video here. We need to normalize cross-checking the people in our lives. We cannot only be checking about our enemies, this person doesn't like me, this person is an enemy, we should stay away, we should do this. Like us, we should normalize, checking those that are close to us, because those that are closer to us are even more dangerous than those that aren't close to us. Yes. So people are not aware of this, but that is the truth. Yes, they are more dangerous. So he's trying to beat this girl. Even as this girl is running, trying to go upstairs, this man wants to follow. Like us, be careful. Protect your mental health. Don't let any negativity crush you down, okay? Protect it at all costs. And be careful. Marriage is not a do or die affair. Yes, it does not take anyone to heaven, okay? And on this note, I'll have to say Bye guys, take care of yourself. Mwah.